Thank you for joining us today as we are looking at evidence that proves that we are in the last days. The Bible tells us what to expect for the last days. And when you read the verses, you can look around you and see that those have come to pass. Many of those verses are already all around us fulfilled. And we just need to look at them and realize that we are in the last days. So let's start. In 2 Timothy chapter 3, it says, "This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. Now, as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth." It tells us that the last days, the people of the last days will resist the truth. And they will resist the truth in the same pattern or as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses. So when we look at that, that's in Exodus chapter 7. What it says is, Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers. Now the magicians of Egypt, they also did in like manner with their enchantments. So they did in like manner to what Moses did. That is what the people of the last days will also do. But they will not resist Moses by doing in like manner with their enchantments. They will resist the truth. They will resist the truth by doing in like manner with their enchantments. So let's look at the word enchantments. Their word enchantments is the Hebrew word lahat, H3858. It occurs 2 times in the Old Testament where it is translated flaming and enchantments. The word lahat means flame. It is a noun that means flame. So if you read this, it literally says, if you take that word as its meaning, then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers. Now the magicians of Egypt, they also did in like manner with their flame, with their lahat, with their enchantments, with their flame. Now we can see all around us that that is true, that what they have done in this day is the people of this day have done in like manner, and they have done it with their flame. It's the electrical wizards, as we've seen from previous videos. The wizards, the electrical wizards of the modern day, they were actually called wizards. Nikola Tesla built the AC motor we still use, and Edison, many things, light bulb, phonograph, film. We're looking at the magic city that they built in 1893. This was the point at which electricity just exploded into the public mind. They built an entire city, electrified it, called it the magic city of 1893. And when we look at, and what that became is our electrical system today. Over time, cities, neighborhoods, entire nations adopted it, and they wired up the world. Now, those wires are actually called hot. We have seen this in previous videos. The wires that carry electricity, that electricity travels on, are called hot. Now, if you can imagine that those wires cover the land with wires called hot. Their vine called hot. And we see it's in our houses, it's in our walls, it's over our heads, it's on the side of our streets. Wires carrying electricity called hot. Now let's look at James 5:3 again, speaking of a pattern for the last days. "Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days." Gold and silver, when we look at the devices that we have, as we have said, their vine, the vine of electricity, they have made it. They have become the branches in it, and they have produced much fruit. The devices all around are their fruit, and the rust of them shall be a witness against them. So now in the gold and silver, let's look at that. There is gold in the phones. There is silver in the phones. 0.034 grams of gold in each cell phone on average. 0.35 grams of silver. There is gold and silver in the phones. So let's look at the word rust here. "Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you." The rust itself will be a witness against the people of the last days. And we see that. What is that word rust? The word rust in that verse is the Greek word ios, I-O-S, G2447. It occurs 3 times. It is translated poison 2 times, and rust the third. It is poison. It is rust. And when we look at that, we see that it says, "The rust of them shall be a witness against you." The rust is the Greek, as we said, is iOS. And what we have in our devices, the operating system of the Apple devices are the iOS. The iOS. Again, the iOS. Now when we see that, and we put that with the verse, Your gold and silver is cankered. And remember, gold and silver is in the phone. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them, the iOS of them, shall be a witness against you. This verse has come to pass. We see it right now. You just saw it come to pass. The rust of them, the iOS of them, shall be a witness against you. It doesn't stop there. It says, they shall eat your flesh as it were fire. And we just saw how the wires are called hot. We just saw how they are called hot, and what they have done is built a vine for their vine, of the vine of Sodom and of the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes of gall, their clusters bitter, their grapes, the devices, the fruit, the apple devices, all the devices are their grapes on this vine, and their grapes of gall. Gall means poison. Their clusters, bitter, poison. That is the fulfillment of God's word, and we see it all around us. Their devices have the poison. They are poison. The rust, the poison, we see it, and it literally is fulfilled. Your gold and silver is cankered. The word cankered is a word from the same word as rust. It means having rust or of rust. Your gold and silver is of rust, is cankered, and the rust of them, the iOS, is a witness against you. They are witnesses against the people of the last days. They do eat their flesh as if it were fire. We see it all around because the writing is on the wall for us in this generation. The writing is on the wall for us so we can see that the Lord is returning soon. His word is true. His word said all this stuff would be happening. His word has come to pass, and when we read it, when we study it, and when we look around, we see that we are in the last days. And we can see it now because it is the last days, and the books were sealed until the last days. So at least in part, they are opened. The part that we can see to convince us that the word is true, that Jesus is coming, that the sign, I'm called it the sign of fire, because it is a sign of fire, because they have heaped treasure together for the last days, and we can see it all around us. Thank you for joining us in this video. Please like this video and see the rest of my videos on YeshuaIsComing.com or signofFire.com. Thanks again, and until next time.